Afternoon to drive innovation across digital sectors.
D2C hair extensions and wig brand Hair Originals adds $5 million to its kitty. The round was co-led by Anicut Growth Fund and 12 Flags Consumer. The round also saw participation from Lenskart top boss Piyush Bansal, startup to use the funds to expand its try-at-home services.
Presage Insights, an IoT and AI-based predictive maintenance firm, raises 5.6 crore rupees in a seed round. The round was led by Yonest Venture Capital, will use the funds for expansion, scale operations, and accelerate innovation.
Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But on What's Brewing today, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has said that India is the company's second largest market and users have tripled last year. Altman, who landed in India late last night, met IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav earlier today and is set to meet Prime Minister Modi. This comes as OpenAI is facing a copyright lawsuit in India filed by top media outlets. Ashmit Kumar reports on Sam Altman's India plans and his day in the national capital. Take a look.
Sam Altman's whirlwind tour of Asia comes to India after his Korean leg of the journey. He landed in India late last night, and this visit comes amidst a growing realization and understanding within India of the importance of building India's own foundational large language model, its own AI model.
India is an incredibly important market for AI in general, for OpenAI in particular. It's our second biggest market, tripled users here in the last year, but mostly seeing what people in India are building with AI at all levels of the stack. Chips, models, all of the incredible applications. So I think India should be doing everything. I think India should be one of the leaders of the AI revolution.
Interestingly, this visit by Sam Altman comes at a time when India has announced its own mission of developing its own sovereign AI model. It also comes at a time after Sam Altman in 2023 had said that it was hopeless for India to compete with developing its own foundational model. And also interesting because it comes after DeepSeek disruption, delivering an AI model at a fraction of the cost of the investments made by OpenAI.
We're now in a world where we made incredible progress with distillation. We learned a lot to do small models, and these reasoning models in particular can be, it's not cheap, it's still expensive to train them, but it's doable. And I think that's going to lead to an explosion of really great creativity.
Taking cue, even the Indian IT minister said that with costs progressively coming down for building an AI model, India hopes to replicate the DeepSeek success.
Every year, it's 10x reduction in the cost of intelligence. That kind of innovation can come from anywhere in the world. Why shouldn't it come from India? That's the point.
And while there's a lot of excitement within the Indian startup community, the understanding is that while India is great at building applications, but there's a lot of ground to cover for building your own foundational model.
OpenAI is thinking of open sourcing as a serious topic on the table. We all want to put the bet right away in the ring, saying that here comes the foundation model, but there is a calibrated approach, and there was a lot of acknowledgement that I saw today.
I don't completely agree with the premise that India is lagging behind. I think Indian startups are innovating in areas where they understand best and they have core competence in.
I think we should definitely win the application layer. We have to do a lot at the model level. I don't think we are as close to building the next DeepSeek at all. But application layer is definitely which can be a moat. I think every organization should put aside an R&D budget for AI, and we should build applications using AI.
Sam Altman called on Indian developers and Indian startups to build solutions on top of their foundational model. But with increased talk of ChatGPT going open source, there's a great deal of excitement on how India can exploit this opportunity. In New Delhi, Ashmit Kumar.
Well, thank you, Ashmit, for taking us through Sam Altman's India plans as his day in the national capital. Also on What's Brewing, serial entrepreneur, venture partner at Kalari Capital and co-founder of the Good Glam Group, Priyanka Gill has launched Coluxe, a lab-grown diamond brand. Coluxe, or conscious luxury, aims to redefine luxury, sustainability and accessibility in the jewelry sector. The venture has secured early-stage funding from leading investors, and the company is also in talks with VCs to raise another round of funds soon. To tell us more about the brand, I have with me its founder and CEO, Priyanka Gill. Priyanka, welcome back to Startup Street. First, tell us what made you bet big on the lab-grown diamond sector. What is Coluxe's big vision and what sets it apart from the other players?
Hi, Shruti. It's always good to be back on Startup Street, and especially when it's at the start of something as exciting as Coluxe.
Yeah.
I think it's very rare. We were just hearing Sam Altman. We were seeing what AI has done kind of in the large space of disruption. In the D2C space or in the brands or consumer space, it's very rare that you come across an opportunity where you know that mass scale behavior change is happening. And that's exactly what's happening in the fine jewelry space, right? When you think about it, the way that our consumers have been purchasing diamonds, it's all going to change. Natural diamonds are already being replaced by lab-grown diamonds, and it's going to be a mass scale change that's happening in front of us. That's what got me really excited. I think now is the time to build the new definition of what fine jewelry buying in India is going to be. And Coluxe is going to build exactly that, right? A beautiful brand, a large-scale brand, a generational brand that truly defines the future of luxury fine jewelry for India and then for the world.
All right, Priyanka, so take us through your tech edge. How are you using artificial intelligence to create customized experiences for your clients? Also, if you could take us through the sustainability aspect as well.
Absolutely, right? So you can almost draw a line to what happened in e-commerce pre-AI ChatGPT and post what's happening now, right? Innovation is happening at a pace that we can't even fathom at the moment. What would have taken a lot of technology, a lot of coding, a lot of computation to do now kind of happens in a fraction of a second. It's very easy now to produce personalized PDPs, product description pages that really speak to who the customer is, right? So your PDP versus my PDP can be entirely different. The way that we as clients interact with brands has completely changed. We can talk to a brand in a natural language, and the brand will talk back with a deep repository of data and information behind it. So it's almost like this gap between the person and the brand, it's collapsing. And when I'm talking to the brand, I'm talking to almost what feels like a person behind there versus a chatbot that you all knew was a chatbot. So there's a lot of excitement in this. There's a lot of different use cases as to how technology will change, even in the, specifically to the jewelry sector, in the try-it-on space, right? It's been, people have been talking about innovations in there for a very long time, but now I really feel that breakthroughs will happen, and it's going to be brands like Coluxe that are going to be leading the charge for that.
All right. Very quickly, if you could ask your press for time, but you plan to launch digitally in May this year, followed by flagship retail expansion in July. How many retail stores are we talking about here, and what kind of partnerships have you built for your digital presence?
Absolutely. So I think, look, it's an omni-channel play for sure. And I think for me, slightly unnaturally, I'm thinking of an offline brand before I'm thinking of an online brand, so to speak. The first flagship retail experience will be in Delhi. We're looking at 2 to follow soon after. And in terms of partnerships, we are looking at some of the biggest growers of lab-grown diamonds who are kind of supplying the stones to us. And we're looking at contract manufacturing for producing the jewelry designs that we make in-house.
All right. As we all know, the cost of natural diamonds is much higher than lab-grown alternatives, and the space is clearly gaining traction because of that, and we're seeing an influx of multiple players, including big corporates. Tell us, how competitively have you priced your pieces, if you could give us a sense of a minimum to a maximum price range?
Absolutely. Look, because it's such an exciting sector, I think you'll start seeing a lot of entrants into the space. Where we stand out is we really believe that it's a brand-first game, and that's what we want to do. I think it's interesting because incumbents' right to win here is not that well defined because it cannibalizes their existing businesses if they go really big in here. So they too have to come in with a new brand. So that's what makes it all super, super exciting for us. You asked about pricing. I think we are going to be extremely competitively priced because that's the game that's here. An AOV that we're taking right now is around 25,000 rupees, which is actually not that high if you're thinking for a fine jewelry purchase.
All right, Priyanka, you aim to establish, like you mentioned earlier, Coluxe as a generational brand, and one of the key factors in doing this would be building trust. First, how do you plan to build that? And also, if you could answer very quickly, how you're also looking to raise another round of funds soon. How much are you looking at, and by when are you hoping to close it?
I think trust is a factor of brand, and I mean, they both interdepend upon each other. I think how deeply you build the brand, that's what kind of generates trust. The same folks who certify a mined diamond are the ones, IGI, who certify the lab-grown diamond as well. How well you communicate that to clients, how well you kind of educate the clients and inspire the clients is basically my job as a brand builder and our job as Coluxe. So I think that's going to be a really fun journey, and I hope to kind of take you guys along with me on that as well. And yeah, I'm in talks with, of course, all my friends in the venture capital world for my first round of venture capital funding. The amount is still kind of, we're still discussing that right now, but you guys will be the first.
All right, Priyanka, as always, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you and wish you the very best with Coluxe. Thank you so much for your time today on Startup Street.
Thank you so much for having me.
Moving on, Medusa Beverages, a craft and premium beer brand, has raised 56 crore rupees or $6.6 million in a Series A funding round co-led by Amal N. Parekh and Ashwin Kedia, with participation from Ramesh Damani, Nikhil Garg, Crest Opportunities and other high net worth individuals. The proceeds will be used to scale operations and strategically invest in synergistic partnerships across the value chain. Joining me now to discuss the growth roadmap is Avneet Singh, the founder and CEO of Medusa Beverages. Avneet, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. You know, you're a craft and premium beer brand. It's a space that has a lot of competition, right? Especially across India. If you could sort of take us through what you have on offer and how are you staying ahead of competition?
Thank you so much for inviting me on Startup Street. It's my pleasure to be here. And this space is growing rapidly. And when we started this business, so majorly all MNCs were dominating the market. But now the homegrown beer brands are taking a lead and providing much better offerings and even international standard beer. So we are looking forward to have a significant space in this industry.
Right. So homegrown brands sort of making a name for themselves right now in the industry. But if you could, sort of take us through the kind of demand that you're witnessing for your beers and what's new on the anvil? What's the plan? We seem to have lost
right
that
now
connection.
We have three offerings. One is the mass market strong beer and other.
Avneet, if you could sort of, yeah, you're audible now. So if you could answer that question now. Yeah, if you could tell us what the demand is that you're witnessing up until now and what's new for you on the anvil.
So one is the mass market. That's what I'm saying. We have one mass market brand and two other premium offerings. Competing with the majority of international brands, and we are getting a lot of traction in North India. And right now we are majorly into North India market, and we have to repeat the chapter for South and West. And we are getting a lot of traction in premium segment majorly, and we have gained approx 27% market share in mild beer in Delhi in last 1 year.
Right. So big presence there in the north of India and still need to sort of enter the markets in the south and the west. But you've raised this $7 million, right? How do you plan to use these funds, scaling operations and to also invest in synergistic partnerships? If you could sort of elaborate on these plans, what kind of partnerships are you looking for?
So this funding will be utilized for exploring new geographies, majorly west and south. And also we are entering into drought beer from April onwards. So the some of the money will be utilized for the capex required for drought beer. And also we are exploring Northeast market as well. So the funds will be utilized to open Northeast market as well.
Right. And what are the kind of partnerships you're looking at?
And so we have recently done a partnership with Warner Brothers. So our third variant is a co-branded product, Medusa X House of the Dragon. And we have an exclusive partnership for 3 years, and we are also looking for another partnership with a sports kind of. We are entering into collaboration with a sports team, so we are still exploring that.
So still exploring opportunities on that front. If you could sort of take us through the kind of revenues that you've made so far, what's the target that you've set for yourself this year, and what's profitability looking like?
So last year we closed at 132 CR, and this year we'll close somewhere around 170 CR. We'll be EBITDA positive. Not very high profits right now because we are investing a lot of our money into brand building, and so the profitability is not the major focus right now. We want to gain market share right now, and we want to have more offerings for the customers.
Right, and like you mentioned just now.
But we are the only startup in this space with the minimal burn, and we are not burning any cash right now.
So you're not burning any cash right now. And, you know, like you mentioned, you have a strong presence in the north of India. If you could sort of tell us what's next. Are you looking, you just said northeast is what you're looking at right now. Any plans for the south or the west? And, you know, what about your manufacturing capability, right? How many breweries do you have? And how are you looking at scaling this?
So apart from northeast, we are exploring west as well, west and south as well. And we are actively looking for breweries because right now we are into asset-light model. We don't have our own brewery, and we have tie-up in 5 breweries in north, and we are still exploring more breweries in south and west for our production.
All right, Avneet, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, but we're completely out of time, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you.
All right,
so
with that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, bootstrap Chennai-based data innovation and life sciences startup Agilisium has a target to touch $100 million by 2027. How they plan to do that? A special report coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
सर मुझे क्रिप्टो करके लाइफ बनानी है पर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है।
कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए?
हाँ।
कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए? Come on, you have to land it. कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए? कैप्टन, इन्होंने सीखा है इसलिए ये कॉन्फिडेंट है। अगर आपको क्रिप्टो में कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए तो क्रिप्टो सीखना होगा। CoinDCX, क्रिप्टो कोच, लर्न करो, क्रिप्टो करो।
सर आप स्माइल कर रहे हैं?
मैंने भी सीखा है।
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Mama must be missing us, na?
Let's take you for a spin, give me one day. Feel the itch under my skin, it's a run day. You believe it when you see we ain't done, hey. It doesn't matter, just gotta get going.
New GT line, Tygoon and Virtus. Volkswagen.
विकास पुरुष प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के मार्गदर्शन एवं माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में महाकुंभ 2025 प्रयागराज बन चुका है आस्था एवं आधुनिकता का अद्भुत संगम। डिजिटल पथ से जुड़कर देश दुनिया का हर हिस्सा श्रद्धालुओं एवं पर्यटकों की यात्रा को सरल, सुगम और सुरक्षित बना रहा है। AI पर आधारित कुंभ सहायक चैटबॉट 11 भाषाओं में पर्सनल गाइड बन रहा है। आवश्यक सेवाओं के लिए QR कोड स्कैनिंग सुविधा है। अस्थायी शहर महाकुंभ नगर के हर लोकेशन और कार्यक्रमों के लिए गूगल नेविगेशन उपलब्ध है। साफ सफाई, खाने पीने, रहने एवं किसी भी तरह की सहायता के लिए महाकुंभ में डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म उपलब्ध है। इनमें महाकुंभ ऐप, वेबसाइट, QR कोड, स्कैनिंग से लेकर चैटबॉट तक की सुविधाएं हैं। पहली बार महाकुंभ में डिजिटल महाकुंभ अनुभूति केंद्र बनाया गया है। इसमें महाकुंभ के ऐतिहासिक महत्व को डिजिटल रूप में समझा जा सकता है। 45 दिनों का महापर्व नया इतिहास रचने की ओर है अग्रसर, क्योंकि ये है दिव्य भव्य डिजिटल एकता का महाकुंभ।
Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing businesses, but also exposing them to unprecedented risks. To navigate these challenges, the India Risk Management Awards returns in its 11th year as the ultimate destination for insights and innovation.
These awards seek to honor the silent risk managers who steer the ship in stormy seas.
If you lead with resilience and innovation, then nominate yourself today. ICICI Lombard and CNBC-TV18 present India Risk Management Awards Season 11.
तुझको जो मैं हो जाऊं पागल। बूम बूम मेरे सीने की धड़कन को सुन, मेरी सांसों को तेरी ही धुन।
Shall we do it again? Unlimited Love. Bookings open on 14th February.
Driving a more equitable future for women globally, transforming economies and unlocking women's potential. CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward is on a definitive mission to make gender parity an attainable reality.
I'm very excited that we've finally started to see a turnaround in women's labor force participation here in India for the first time.
Watch Mary Ellen Iskandarian, the visionary leader of women's world banking, in conversation with Shireen Bhan as she shares her bold, trailblazing approach to advancing global workforce parity. HSBC presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, The Women's Collective, Season 3, co-presented by Cognizant.
Welcome back to Startup Street. Bootstrap Chennai-based data innovation and life sciences startup Agilisium has projected sustained growth at 45% CAGR to rake in revenues of $100 million by 2027. In a chat with Jude Sennett, the company's founder and CEO said that its recently launched innovation fund would be used to build agentic AI solutions across 30 to 40 projects in the life sciences sector. Here's a slice of that conversation. Listen in.
And we'll talk a little bit about how that will translate into revenues for Agilisium in a sense. But if you could just give us a lowdown in terms of how much you've been doing in revenues, what have growth rates been like, how has the company grown, and what's your revenue number as things stand right now?
Sure. Actually, interesting time you asked this question. We just closed our 2024. We operate in a calendar year.
Yes.
And we closed last year, crossed our 50 million mark in the revenue, which has been quite a good milestone for a startup company to cross. So we have crossed that. We are towards the journey of crossing the 100 million over next few years. And Gen AI has been really key for that. And the life science also has been key. We used to be kind of analytics focused. We narrowed down to life science in last few years because we want to not only just be a technology company, we wanted to be an insights company.
Right.
And we understood that if you have to do insights business, then you need to go deep in domain. And that's how we said, okay, let's select a domain and go deep. And what other domain to render more value than life science? It's a phenomenal value.
And the target of 100 million in the next few years, you're looking to hit that by calendar year 2027, I would assume?
Yes.
Right.
We are on track. We have been having CAGR growth of 45%, and we continue to have that traction for next few years. So we should be able to, with that kind of growth, we should be able to hit a 100 million target by 2027.
So give me some insights in terms of what are the different parts of this value chain that you find yourselves.
So the primary value chain, what we are involved in, we are focused in, is two primarily value chain. Life science has multiple key value chains, but primarily we are working as of now is commercial and R&D. So we are starting to little bit do on manufacturing, but it's in a very early stages. But commercial is we are very, very strong. That's where most of our business. And also we are getting very stronger in R&D process of the supply chain. These are the two areas.
It's really interesting you talk about agentic AI because that is pretty much what most experts and even companies are talking about will be the one big part of AI that is all set for exponential growth this year. So I know we're doing this interview in the midst of your innovations lab. You also have an innovation fund that you've set up, close to $1 million if I'm not mistaken. Take me through what this is all about and how will it help agentic AI move forward?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. See, the agentic AI, there are multiple parts of agentic AI. There are horizontal and there is vertical. The horizontal is basically, it creates all the tools and pieces where you can utilize that to develop a solution. But when you go in deep into a domain, in a life science, for example, under commercial, under patient 360, and if you want to go under that and better understand a caregiver, HCP, then you need it's not just a technology, you need to understand contextual data for that company and for that kind of therapeutic area.
What are some of the other solutions that you're working on here at Agilisium?
So so one of the key customers, we are working with a major healthcare in San Diego, Basically, one of the problems they are trying to solve is how agentic AI can help in the kidney transplant, in identifying the best donor, most suitable donor and the recipient, so the longevity of the receiver will be higher. Right? How can look at all the historical data, look at all the the patient data and past patient data, and who has which patient receiving from which kind of patient from their all the biological specifics suitable where the organ will be accepted by the receiver. So we are working with them.
All right. So 30 to 40 projects you're looking at by way of the Innovation Fund itself, as many partnerships as well, I would begin to assume. However, in this 10-year journey that you've been on thus far, you've remained stoically bootstrapped.
Yep.
Are you open to the prospect of venture capital funding? If yes, what kind of timeline are we looking at?
Yeah, so definitely. See, I think one of the things is that we definitely want to be in a much mature state, So what we have told ourselves is that anywhere between our revenue, somewhere between 200 to 250 million, we want to, where it is we did not draw the line. Somewhere once we have crossed the 100 million mark, and somewhere between like 250 billion mark, we will definitely open to the markets, because if we have to grow beyond that, the scales are higher. We want other partners, not only for money, for other reasons. We want a partner who will bring a lot more value, lot more, the expertise that we may not necessarily possess.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. From Shruti and me, goodbye and many thanks for watching. Stay tuned, more news and updates coming up on the other side.
Hello everyone. On behalf of HSBC, what I want to say is that on the subject of diversity and empowerment of female executives, we just don't want to be a member or a partner. We want to take a leadership role in this space. And we don't want to take a leadership space just for the sake of societal good. All of us believe that any organization that is inclusive and that is diverse will always benefit from the value add that diversity and that inclusion gives. And it is in this context that we are very, very happy to be part of this particular initiative to enhance the quality and the quantum of conversation on this subject. So we're just very happy to be partnering with CNBC-TV18 for the third edition of the Future Female Forward. Our sincere hope is that each season will add to the quality and the quantum of conversations, and this subject then helps us make the whole idea of making the country, the businesses, the economy much more inclusive and much more diverse.
HSBC presents CNBC TV18 Future Female Forward, The Women's Collective, Season 3, co-presented by Cognizant.
Presented by HSBC. Co-presented by Cognizant. Knowledge Partner, the Udayti Foundation. Associate Partner, Reliance Industries.
All it takes is one. To spark a lifetime of moments that shine. Natural solitaire diamonds from Malabar. Your greatest love story awaits. Go ahead, find your one. Solitaire One. Find your one.
पिछली बार 8 घंटे वाली बिजली चो कोई कट लग गया